there was Jeremy Evans.
Okay.
He only did.
Welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. My name is Michelle Hartwig, and I am your host. I am also race director for many Midwest trail races like Kettle Moraine 100, Frozen Gnome, 50K, 10K, and we got Midwest States 100 coming in 2021. And I am here with my co-host, Crystal the Pistol.
Hey everybody, what's up?
And our guests tonight are coming to us from Michigan, and it's Rebecca Meyer and Sara Johnson. And they are known for being standout runners because they support the running community really well in their area, and they're great friends that do a lot of stuff together. So we've been hearing about their adventures, and we're super excited to have them on the show. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
So you guys have some little magic cups there that seem to be making you extra happy tonight.
Oh, we're always like this. It doesn't matter. We're always like this.
We're happy without the cups.
Yes.
But these we do collect from Running Fit Races in Southeast Michigan. It's a really popular race company.
Yeah.
They're a small family-owned company that puts on some fabulous races, and they always have awesome swag. So this one was an age group award, and sometimes everybody gets
Everyone got this one.
Yes, I've done dances with dirt. I've done all the dances with dirt races, actually. So yeah, those are fun. Great stuff.
I'm also using my coaster.
Oh, good. Midwest States 100. So we want to hear a little bit about, we want to talk about a lot of stuff about you guys, but first, I want to hear about your friendship, but first let's start a little bit about your running history. Like, when did each of you start running?
You can start.
You want me to start?
You can start.
Okay, I'll go first. This is Rebecca, for those of you that can't see us right now. So I grew up kind of always a runner. It probably started, I was in 6th grade. And for those of you that have or had adolescent children, it's that changing time of life. And my mother was worried about my weight and said, you must do a sport. And I didn't want to do a sport. And I go through this with my own children right now. So it's kind of funny, kind of not funny. She tried to make me do swimming, and I hated it so much. And luckily, one of the 6th grade teachers started a run club. And so I did run club, and I was much more comfortable running. I did gym class and everything, but I was never good at ball sports. I've had glasses since I was in 3rd grade and really bad hand-eye coordination. So I had thread wrapped around the arms of my glasses and bend them back into shape all the time because I was just so uncoordinated. So I started running in 6th grade, got into cross country and track in junior high and high school. And then I didn't do anything fabulous with it in college. I just ran off and on.
Did you enjoy it? Because it sounds like you got pushed into it, but you kept doing it because you liked it?
Yes, I was fast. Okay. I was pretty good. Junior high, I got the girls' mile record in 7th grade, I think. And then in high school, I was on the 3,200 meter relay team, and we broke our school record in 1996. And that record still stands to this date. So that's pretty exciting. I was kind of plagued with injuries off and on, some compartment syndrome type issues, and Haglund's deformity in my ankles. So I couldn't go too far. 5K was about it. I did a 10K or 2 here or there, but it was always a really good form of stress relief. And then I dabbled in it still in early marriage and everything in the early 2000s. And it wasn't until sometime after Sara had her 2nd baby and she was ready to start her journey that I got reinvigorated with running.
Oh, so, does that segue to me?
I guess that's Sarah's turn now.
So I dabbled a little in running in college, but other than that, I never ran. Never. I was always a kid that played outside, loved the outdoors. If I could be outside, I was outside. I was always an active child. I did ice skating and horseback riding and all kinds of sports, but never anything to do with running. And so in college, I dabbled just a little bit, but it was just like I did like one 5K. And then after I had my second child, I was talking with my coworker that's actually 16 years older than me. And she had run several marathons and she would talk about it. And we would get so excited about talking about running. And so I wanted to lose my baby weight. So I just walked. And that's how you can obviously get rid of a lot of weight quickly, is just walking. And I lost all my baby weight and then decided, oh, I'll start running because why not? So I would run a quarter mile, walk a quarter mile, run a quarter mile, walk a quarter mile for 4 miles, 4 times a week. And then I would keep increasing how much I ran compared to how much I walked. And I just kept increasing it until I got to a point that I was like, hey, I think I want to do a race. So the very first race that I did was a 5-mile trail run. I never ran on trail, but hey, why not, right? So it snows the day before. And I'm like, well, it'll just get canceled. Who runs in the snow? It doesn't seem like something you would do. And sure enough, it's like 4 to 6 inches of snow. And they're like, no, it doesn't get canceled. I need to go run? Oh, okay. Everyone's there. Like, it's full race on. I was hooked ever since. Like, I ran that race and I was like, this is amazing. Runners are amazing. All the people that you interact with on a daily basis that run are just so friendly and happy. And it's just something that you can do outside with friends and have a great time. So, we've dabbled together. We've run by ourselves. We've run together. We've gone on adventures together, running adventures. We've had so much fun all these years.
So Sarah and I met in 2003. We're both medical technologists.
We're both nerds. Science nerds.
And we both started a brand new job in the lab at St. Mary Mercy in Livonia, Michigan back in 2003. And she's a little bit older than me, but we just hit it off right away. We're like, sisters separated at birth. We finish each other's sentences and we just like know what the other person's thinking. Our coworkers would get confused all the time, even though she's a blonde, I'm a brunette. And they just think I'm her and she's me and who's who. And
still to this day, 17 years later, we still get confused. People will still swap our names at work.
And so we even got pregnant and had babies due a day apart.
Oh my gosh. So how many kids do you guys have?
I have 2.
I have 5.
Wow. But you were starting to say something. I'm sorry. I was just curious of the kids.
So we're kind of at different stages of life. So Sarah already had 1 and she got pregnant with her second when I got pregnant with my first. And so they just had birthdays. So our boys are 14 now. And then I have a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So Sarah's getting hers out of the house and mine are still in elementary school and on the continuum there and school journeys. And so we're just at different spots in her life. She can get up and leave and go do crazy runs. And I'm still like, I don't know. When's my husband going to be home? So we have a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, that's a lot. You both have a career and then you're dedicated runners. How would you define yourself as a runner? Like, what are you, an ultra runner? Are you a 5-mile runner? Like, how do you define yourself?
Well, I think we have transitioned to several things over our running career. We started, with like even smaller races, not even like big venue races.
Yeah, no, just like all the Running Fit and Kona runs, the local 5Ks for all the different holidays and everything. We started with that. And then Sarah jumped to the full marathon pretty quickly in her journey. And I had never done that yet. I think I did a 10K or something a couple times when I was younger, but it wasn't until Sarah was done with her Disney Marathon extravaganzas when I finally decided, well, I wanted to do a half first. And that's when Running Fit came out with the Thirsty 3 series. So it was like a spring, summer, fall, and it was at a brewery, a winery, and a cider mill. And so that's when I was going to do my first half marathon, was at the winery in August out in Jackson, right? I think it's Jackson.
Yeah.
And then, so I paid for all 3 up front because, that's a good way to commit yourself. Make sure you train and make sure you do it. And then I got pregnant with number 5. It was 5. I got
we
pregnant.
can't keep it straight.
And I never run through a pregnancy. I'd always just get complacent and, enjoy my ice cream and all my goodies on the couch and gain my 30 pounds no matter what I did. So I decided to run through that pregnancy. The doctor okayed it. I said, I've never run this distance. Are you sure it's okay? And she says, oh, just listen to your body, blah, blah, blah. So I did it and I did pretty good. Yeah, I got like 2 hours and 10 minutes for a first half marathon, 4 months pregnant in August. So I'll take it. And that was fun. And then, then it comes up to, oh, is it time for a marathon? And that was a bigger commitment. And I wasn't sure because you hear the stories about people bonking, you see the wheelchairs lined up at the end and everything. Do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? And Sarah's like,
I'm retired. I'm retired from the marathon distance. I had already done 6. I was like, no more, I'm done. It like kind of consumes your life with your training. And I said, done. And she's like, you're not even going to do it for me. And I'm like, nope. I will train with you. And that's about it.
So you did your training for your marathon on your own, or did you have a group?
I did. Oh, Sarah did.
Sarah, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Sarah did all hers before. And actually, I did my first marathon before we met and found our group.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of been a lone wolf just because of my husband's crazy work schedule and all my kids. So, it's totally always on me if I want to get something done. So that wasn't too big of a problem. But so we had, was it 2016?
Oh, that was a good year.
Oh, okay. So 2015 must have come first.
Yeah.
It usually does, doesn't it?
It does.
So after my half marathon, pregnant with the baby, I decided, it was getting ready time when they still had the, when you had to pay for the lottery for New York City. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to chance. I'll pay that $11, put my name in the hat. I think registration for that opened up. I was still in the hospital with her. And lo and behold, I got accepted. They drew my name. I was going to New York.
She got drawn, mind you, I don't know if you heard that. Her name got drawn right after she delivered her child in the hospital.
Yeah, okay. So how far was it until race day from then?
Well, I think the lottery was 9 months, or the registration for the lottery was 9 months before. Okay. The baby was born in January.
So you had a little time to get.
I had a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found my training plan, and I don't know, 6 weeks after she was born or whatever, I start ramping back up, do a little couch to 5K, and then get into my plan. And it was a great year. I was hitting PRs left and right with all my distances. And
she was fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to beat you.
Yes, we did.
Are you guys competitive, like when you racing one another?
Well, we're in different.
Yeah. The good thing is we're in different age groups.
Okay.
Yeah, always. Yeah. So it's okay. We can live with each other.
Yeah. We can root each other on.
How close do you guys live by? Are you guys like I'm picturing you like right next door. Like, hey.
Oh, we wish.
No. It's about 12 miles.
Yeah, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly freeway, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we've both been through some moves, but yeah, we still work at the same hospital. We have different jobs now, but we still work together-ish, kind of. She took my old job. Yeah. It's kind of like she got me hand-me-down.
Okay, but you gotta tell the story about the marathon.
Oh, what happened? Yeah. So
keep her on track, Sarah.
We get a month out from a New York City Marathon. The plane tickets are bought. The hotel is reserved. The babysitters are lined up for all the kids. I go out for my last long run all by myself, the big 20-miler. My training plan just had me doing 120-miler, and that was it. And like every step I took, I just had this weird pain that I couldn't shake. You know, usually you have a bad couple miles. You need maybe 4 miles to get warmed up to something, but it was different. And a mile in, I'd stop and stretch. It was kind of up in my groin. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then I'm thinking about my route. We have this Kensington Metro Park, which has a path around a lake, and that's about 8 3/4 mile. And I started up in the next town, and I'm taking a path into there. So it's about 5 miles. And I was going to run mostly all the way around this lake and then go into the next Metro Park and back to get my 20 miles. So it was going to be a long journey. And there's not easy access for cars all along there. And so at about 2 miles in, I stopped again. And it was the first time I ever had to think about quitting run. I've never gave up on a run before, but this pain wouldn't go away. And I'm like, you know, I don't think it's going to do me any good to try to do this run. And I ended up walking back. And the one time I crossed a main road, I was actually thinking about hitchhiking. It hurt so bad.
Oh.
I went home. I had like 15-minute drive home, and stepping out of the car on my left leg, I almost collapsed. I could not support myself. So I Googled myself and rested and iced all weekend. And I'm like, well, I either tore my adductor muscle or I fractured my pelvis. You know, I'm like laying around, feeling around all down there, trying to pinpoint where the pain is. I went to work on Monday, feeling pretty well rested, lots and lots of Motrin in my body, and walking around to do rounds at work. And all of a sudden it got so bad, I texted my coworker. I'm like, I gotta go to the ER. Long story short, I go to the ER. The doctor, it's my birthday. The day I go to the ER is my birthday. I turned 30, 35, 32. I don't know. I was 30 something, and they put me in, Livonia has a very senior population. And so to cater to that population, they actually made a senior emergency room. So everything's a little more like ADA accessible and dim lighting and larger font on things. So they put me in a room in the senior ED. So that was like, happy birthday. The doctor comes in and he asks me my story and everything. And I tell him, and he's like, well, what do you think's wrong? So I told him, I said, well, I think I either tore an adductor or I fractured my pelvis. And he says, well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not an ortho. I really don't know. So I'm going to go consult with a sports med and an ortho and see. And so he goes and calls people. He comes back. He's like, yep, that's what they think. And so we'll give you an MRI. He finally comes back and he throws the report on me. He's like, well, you were right. And I said, right about what? He's like, about everything. Tore your adductor and you fractured your pelvis.
Oh my gosh. And you were walking around like that?
Oh, yeah. So it was like a hairline fracture. I didn't need any surgery or screws or plates, but it was rest, crutches, you know, whatever you can tolerate. Some Norco, ice packs in the ice. I didn't take any time off work besides the rest of that day. I had a mini fridge in my office and I just put ice packs down there. What moms do, right? Yep, you keep going, put an ice pack on it and get on with it.
What a bummer after going through the whole training progress. You're on your last long run.
Yeah. So, you know, I thought, well, it'd be nice to go and see. I'd never been to New York City, but it's such a not, you know, you walk everywhere, right? You know, it's crutches, and I hear about people with apartments that there's no elevators and things like that. So I'm like, with a new injury on crutches, it's not going to be fun. So we had to cancel it all. I think I deferred and left it up to deciding the next year if I wanted to pay again to do it or not. And instead we decided to take the kids to Disney. So I've still never been to the New York City Marathon, and I put my name in the hat every year, and we'll see if I ever get picked again.
Wow.
So that was a little sad, but so sometime in there after we were both doing really good in 2016.
That was a hot year.
That was the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the year we were going kind of for road PRs.
We did, yeah,
We did. We got a lot of road PRs.
Yeah.
5K, 10K, half marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the next year, I think it was 2017,
Yeah.
we're like, we don't want to run fast anymore. Like, what should
We hit them. We hit our goals.
Yeah.
We're good. Those are good numbers.
Yeah. So then we're like, well, what should our next goal be? Or what should our next challenge be? And that's when we decided to try trail running.
Yep.
So I forget who puts it on, but there was this winter trail fest at Yankee Springs over in Middleville, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And so we signed up for the half marathon there.
Yep.
And that was in the wintertime ish.
Yep. Yep.
February, March.
Yep. Yep.
There wasn't too much snow, so that's good, but there is a water crossing. So that made it pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You can add on an extra 1/10 of a mile if you don't want to get wet, but you know, we like
I mean, come on.
we like adventure. I'm like, that's part of the
Go
draw,
for it.
right? So snow's on the ground, you're up to your knees in this river. It's pretty fun.
It was fun.
And they had ramen, cup of ramen at the end, and
And
hot
nice
chocolate, bonfire.
Uh-huh.
We like the whole experience, you know, not just the race.
We like the expo, everything. We like try to experience the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wherever we go, we travel, we try to enjoy the whole experience, like wherever we're going. So we like to, she can't travel far because of having 5 kids. So we go to other states that we can drive to. So we've tried to hit everything around Michigan. And yeah, we stopped at half marathon then and we were doing trails. And then it was like, what's the next thing? Because you know, there's always something else.
So Sarah called the next adventure and she said,
Why not a 50K? Everyone thinks it's her fault. It was really my fault. It was Sarah's fault. It was my fault.
Well, you were the first one to do the marathon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and I did eventually do my marathons. I think it was 2017. I did Grandma's Marathon in Duluth.
Mm-hmm.
That one is a mid-June race and you train all winter and early spring. And then you go to Duluth and it's right on Lake Superior and the temperature was crazy. So just the change from like spring weather to humidity and no wind and 73 degrees in full sun with that thick air just got to me. And I felt like I was going to die. You know, it's like, I'm sure I was entering rhabdomyolysis. I couldn't move to the side. It felt like my thighs were going to rip apart. It didn't pee for forever. And when I finally did, it looked like Coca-Cola. Of course, I didn't go to the hospital.
No.
And I really wasn't that far off my goal.
No.
But it was a very miserable race.
I ran the half because remember I retired from marathon. So I ran the half.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm running the half and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. Because you could feel, you know, it's just that hot humidity. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. And so I had time. I could go shower and go get the champagne and do all that fun stuff and hang out with people on the side of the, you know, race and meet people and have a beer. And, you know, and here she comes around the corner and I'm like, yeah. She's like, don't touch me.
Sarah was jumping over barricades. She wanted to meet me in the middle of the road and give me a giant hug.
Yeah.
And I put my hand up and I said, no, stay away.
Well, that's good that you finished. So then you did the 50K. So what year was the 50K? And what 50K did you do?
Woodstock.
Woodstock?
Yeah.
2018. Right? Yeah. Right?
Maybe.
Yeah. 2018.
Okay.
So how did you train for that?
So we did marathon training, but then just did back-to-back long runs. So on the weekends, we would do a long road run, and then the next day would be a semi-long trail run because it was trails. So we wanted to keep our trail legs there. So we kept running trails. We would make sure that Sunday would be trails. We also, we did long runs as trails as well, just to make sure that we were keeping trails in there, but we would do road as well. So we'd intermingle both of them. We always ran together like Saturday and Sunday. We'd always have like our epic day of sitting at the beach and having a few drinks after. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Your treats. I mean, you guys got all these kids between the two of you, and you deserve to have a drink afterwards.
Or more. It was a little embarrassing when one of our running friends walked upon us while we're sitting at the beach and we had been throwing our drinks behind us. So there's a pile. And our friend's like, I think that's Sarah and Rebecca. And we're like, what? Hi. Pile.
We'd never met his wife
Yes.
before, so that was her introduction to us.
Oh, no.
With our pile.
So she was like, these guys are awesome.
She's kind of like, who do you hang out with?
Yeah, they're a couple age groups ahead of us.
Yeah.
And is this with Running Lab? You guys run with Running Lab, don't you? Or am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we didn't start running with Running Lab till
When we wanted to do the Winter Trail Fest.
Yeah, so we ran by ourselves for so long, and then we would run together when we could, but we did a lot of running by ourselves. And then when she broke her hip,
She calls it my hip.
because I think it's hilarious that she's younger than me and she broke her hip, even though she didn't really break her hip. But it's one of my favorite stories. So then she was kind of out of commission, and I'm like, oh, there's this group that runs together. How cool. We dabbled in doing some of their events together, and I was like, oh, I should join. And I was all intimidated, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can run with all these experienced people, and they're intimidating. And they really weren't intimidating, but you get in your own head and you think they're intimidating.
And
And I
here
was like,
you
"Oh."
guys have done a lot. Like, I think people would be intimidated by you.
And I was like, oh, she can't go. And I'm like, just get over yourself and go already. And so I started running with them, and it was so amazing. Like, you know how runners are, they're always inclusive and just friendly and talkative. And I was like, this is a whole new world. It was amazing. And we've loved them ever since. And so we're big supporters. We're both Running Lab ambassadors. And I've been a running coach for the last 2 years. And we've just had so much fun with them. And your family just grows and grows and grows when you join a group. It's huge. Huge. Yeah. And everybody's doing different things, different goals. It's just fun to experience it all with them.
And you're a running coach for them. What does that involve?
So I run with them 2 days a week, and then I help them with one child.
So whose
Only
house
one
are you at?
We're at Rebecca's. My
Okay.
house. I can get away easier.
Hi there.
Yeah, I do 2 days a week. Right now with COVID, we're not, but you support your pace group, and then you always talk to them about, what tips you can give them if they have questions. Just give them your experiences. They share their stories, and it just like helps them feel more comfortable about what they're doing, and hopefully they enjoy their experience as much as we do, So yeah, it's been really fun to coach people and to get them to their goals. Like Christy was one of my in my group, and she had wanted to run a half marathon, so she did her first half marathon, and I went and supported her for it and ran with her, and she got it done. She did fabulous. She did. It was great. Yeah, it was a great experience.
And
So
then
we just like going.
do you guys have any thing that you're getting ready for now? Any races coming up that you're training for?
So I'm currently an injured runner. I'm training to be able to run more than 2 miles again. It's been a long process. I think I hurt myself back when we did the Midwest States 100K in 10 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel responsible.
Maybe if I took 10 days to do it, I wouldn't have got injured.
Okay. So what were you trying to do? What was your goal?
We did it in 7 days.
Okay.
6 days for you, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, So yeah, I got some tendonitis in my popliteal tendon, and it just wouldn't get better on its own over the summer. I've been in PT for 6 weeks now, and I'm finally up to. I did a 2-mile run today, and my big run this week is 2.5 miles. So we're getting there, but every time I don't cross train, I get an injury. The years back in the good old days when I was part-time and I could go to group fitness classes on the days off, I was in fabulous shape. And now I work full-time with an hour commute each way and all these kids and activities. So you kind of prioritize and you think, well, I got to get the miles in, but then you lose something. So just focusing on my strength training, on, my quads and my butt and everything. It's really, really helped. So I've started biking. It's something Sara was doing with some other running lab friends that weren't injured, just for another challenge.
Yeah.
But I joined them on a couple rides, and I had more time to mountain bike with my kids and really liked it. So for my birthday this year, I got a gravel bike and I've been riding more, and it's really fun to go fast. And so I've really been enjoying that. So being injured has helped me find other hobbies, and hopefully biking will help me with some cross training without really feeling like it's cross training once I can get more runs in.
I'm curious, like, I don't know how you have 5 kids and schedule your day. So when are you doing your runs or biking, your cross training, your work? Like, how are you waking up at like 2 a.m.?
Oh no, I'm not a morning person. So when I am running, weekends are definitely early runs. It's nice to go out and run, depending on the lighting, like a 6 or 7 a.m. run, depending on how far we have to go, just so I'm not wasting too much of the day besides those beach days. But by the time I get back, if it's 9:30 or 10:30, the kids are still not up to too much yet. My husband's still drinking coffee, so I can still be present with the family most of the day. Weeknights, I'll wait until my husband gets home. You just put on your Knox gear vest and your headlamp, and you do it in the dark.
And do you guys meet up for those nighttime runs, or are you?
No,
I am not a night runner. I don't like it. I can't see. It's not my forte. So yeah, I don't go. Running Lab has group run on Tuesdays usually when COVID's not around. Sara lives real close, and I coach them, so I go.
So she does that, and I'm on my own on the weekdays, and then we meet up on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then what about you, Sara? How do you schedule your runs?
So my kids are 14 and 17, and so they're pretty independent, which is fabulous. And the 17-year-old can drive the other one to what he needs to go to. So I don't really have to worry about it. But I do try now with COVID, I'm working remotely, which is fabulous in itself as well. So I can go in the morning before I log into work and get some runs in. And that's been really nice. You just feel so good when you have your run done, you can start your day with a run, and you just feel good. Like you've gotten it done, and it's a fabulous day. No one can get you down then when you already got it done. And then the weekends, my husband takes care of the kids, or they're sleeping anyway now. I mean, they sleep till like noon. So I've already had like a long run. My son's like, "Did you run today, Mom?" Yeah, 20 miles. And he's like, "What?"
Like it's morning.
On the bed.
Yeah, then for me, for the smaller runs or bike rides, like today I did leave the house. I went for a 6-mile bike ride. It took me 25 minutes. So that's what the length of a kid's cartoon show. So
Right.
They didn't even know I was gone.
Yeah.
But the 2 older boys, they're 14 and 12 now and pretty responsible. So sometimes we'll throw some cash at them to babysit, or it's kind of part of my 14-year-old's job. He gets home from school early, so he stays home alone, and then he goes and meets the little sisters at the bus at 4 and walks them home and keeps an eye on them until I get home, and we give him like $10 a day. So kind of spills over into some short workouts on the weekday too.
And then you guys were planking and stuff, just getting ready for the show. Like, so you just randomly do your, like,
You gotta get pumped up, right?
Yep.
That's actually part of Running Lab. Every November, they do a planks giving challenge. So every day, well, there's a schedule for the month. There's some rest days in there, but it's a progression from a 10-second plank up to, what is it, 4 minutes?
I think so. And then it ends with like a challenge, like who can do the longest plank. It's really fun. It's always fun to like mix things up, put whatever you can in to keep people motivated. Like with Running Lab too, doing our runs, it's road running, but we'll do, because we enjoy doing trails. Like she's amazing on trail. Like she is like, just, you like never fall. She never falls. So the first year that we ran trails together, I fall every single time. Every time. I mean, it was like, it was inevitable. And like, so we just, like, she has her thing, I have my thing, but we can bring it together and we can still make it like fun and work, like I prefer road. You just get into the zone and go, and you don't have to think about it. Whereas trail has its own, positives too, because
so much nicer on your
and
joints.
It's so nice on your body. But it's so much more involved.
You have to pay attention.
You have to think and pay attention. It's not that like zoning out on the road that's just, getting in that. It's easier, right? It's more challenging on the trails.
I don't like the road. I don't like the noise, the cars.
She doesn't like to go fast. She doesn't like
running straight and just feeling like you never get to your end point. I don't like to run fast. I'm a lazy runner.
We are two different runners, but we love to run together.
So this is kind of funny. It was Sarah's first run that she was talking about. That 5-mile trail run is just a local charity run. And we did it together on a different year. It was part of our long run. We had to run we had to run like 6 miles first, and then we went and did that race. But we've always gone to races. We've always gone to races together, but then we run our own race and then we celebrate afterwards. We'd never run road races together. Besides maybe hanging out together for the first mile or something, and then I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm like, go ahead, whatever.
Sometimes not.
So it was the year that we were training for the trail run, I think. And anyway, so we do this 5-mile trail run, and we'd already run. Yeah. We'd already done half our workout, and I couldn't keep up with her. I'm like, go ahead. I'm not in it. I'm just gonna jog and enjoy it. And so she goes off. And then later, maybe a mile from the end, I'm running along, and I'm like, is that Sarah? Is that Sarah I see? Sarah! It's me! So we start running together, and she's like, oh, I'm dead. I can't go anymore. I'm like, yes, you can. Come on, I'll run with you. Come on. And she says, go on without me. I can't make it. So I'm trying to drag her, and she won't let me. And then we go up this steep hill, and then it was the finish, and it was just kind of ridiculous because it was a steep up climb. And I'm like, come on, we can make it. No, I'm gonna like sit and take a break or something. I don't know, maybe up the hill backwards. And I make it up to the top, and the finish line is right there as soon as you made it to the top. And so I just start laughing hysterically. She's like, what's wrong? What's the matter? I'm like, the finish line is right here. Get your butt up here. So we decided, it was when we were training for the 50K. That's the year it was.
Yes.
So we decided if Sarah's going to survive the 50K, I have to lead. Because I'm better at pacing and conserving energy, and she's more like my 8-year-old that's just balls to the wall until you die.
Yep.
And then you figure it out then.
Yep.
So you're a perfect balance for one another.
Yes, it works.
It does.
So how'd the 50K go?
Oh God. Are you going to talk about it?
50K went really, really good. It was a really wonderful experience for me. I enjoyed it. I love Woodstock. I love everything about it. Sarah has a rough time with trail starts and bottlenecking in the woods.
Not anymore. I did then because I didn't understand.
More like when she was talking about how she likes the road because you get in the zone and you just go.
Yeah.
And we're bottlenecked and we're walking on a trail and she's like, I just want to go.
I just want to get in the zone.
I want to get in the zone. Pissing off all the people around us, and I'm hearing them mutter about her. I'm like, you got shut up. Nobody can go fast.
Oh, and then I fell. And then I
Yes, yes. And then she fell. Once we got spread out a little bit, we finally got going, and it was like because you start in the dark at 6 a.m. or something.
Because remember, I don't like the dark. I fall in the dark.
The sun was coming up, so it was that in between time. And she hit a root and she fell, and she was like playing the victim in the middle of the trail, just spread eagle on her belly. I fell, Rebecca.
Do you like this story? This is not really what happened, but this is the story. This is her version.
I look at her and she's still just laying there. I'm like,
Well, because the wind was knocked out of me.
get up. You have to get up. In the way.
You're in
We're gonna run you over. And then the other people came from behind and they're like, oh no, are you okay? I'm like, Sarah, we're gonna get off schedule. Get up.
We still love each other very much. We survived.
It got better after that.
Oh no, then I was in the potty.
Oh, Port-A-Potty Incident.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I thought she left me. We were at a big, they had 8 stations every 4 miles and it was 2 loops. And she needed to use the restroom. And so I'm just like at the buffet and people keep offering to fill my water bottles and bladders. And I'm like, you know, they're like, why are you still here? What do you need? And I'm like, I'm waiting for my friend. And then she's not coming and not coming. I'm like, did she leave without me? Like, because the table was like and then there was a whole bunch of porta pots and everything. And I'm like, so I'm yelling, Sarah, where are you?
I was strategically trying to throw away my underwear in a porta potty without touching anything because, you know, it's a little gross in there. So that took some time because you have to take it and then bye-bye. So by the time I pop out, she's like, did you fall in? I'll tell you in a little bit when we get away from the people, but I'm so much better now. Yeah, so that was not my, favorite race. Had some problems with that one. I never thought that I would enjoy another one, but I got intrigued with the 24-hour races. I had some friends that were going to attempt it, and so I was like, why not? Let's see what happens. So I had done a half marathon at Zion on its trail, and I'm like, oh well. And then we walked and hiked all the trails at Zion and everything. And I'm like, oh, I got 100,000 steps in a day. I'll do a 24-hour race and see what happens. And I did 100K, and I was like, that was amazing. It was so much fun. And I ran with a friend for 50 miles. We were together the entire 50 miles. And then Rebecca came at night, all fresh. Like, here's my pacer at night, ready to go. And I'm like, dog, we're walking.
Now, what was that? Was that a trail or was that more road-like?
And it was a 3-mile loop, but it was a trail, and it had all kinds of different, there was like gravel and sand and hills and
Mud with logs.
And I mean, it had like everything. So that 3 miles always felt like new and fresh. And I think it was like when it hit dark, we went the opposite way. Mm-hmm. So it always felt like different. Even though you're doing a 3-mile loop, always, over and over again, it sounds like kind of awful when you talk about it if you've never done it. But when you go out there and do something like that, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Because you're like, I can do 3 miles. I can do another 3 miles. I can do another 3 miles. And you just keep going. And you have so much fun. And so then Rebecca was interested. So then we did another 24-hour race, and she got her 100K, and you know, it just never stopped.
So now you guys are ultra runners.
Yeah. So now I'm training for 100 miles at Pistol in March in 2021, if it happens, with COVID. So we'll see. But
what time of the year is that?
March.
Yeah, hopefully it happens.
We don't know. We'll see. Yep. But that's the next one for me. Rebecca's still hurt, so
yeah. Apparently, I'm crewing. That's what Jeff said.
Yeah. He didn't believe me when I said, "Oh, Rebecca will come," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, she will." I mean, who doesn't want to travel? Tennessee.
That's right.
Have some fun.
And the Pistol, like, is that road-ish?
It is roadish, and it's pretty flat, and it's a 10-mile loop, which sounds kind of intimidating that it's 10 miles, but there's aid every 2 miles. Well, I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens with, but it's supposed to be, and it's well lit, so I won't be running in pitch black, which I don't like.
Really? So there's lights at nighttime?
Yeah, they have it all lit. I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
No, so I think it'll be cool. I hope it'll be cool. It'll be fun.
Yeah, well, good luck.
I enlisted a few others to join me. So. It'll be good. If it happens.
I hope it does. If it doesn't, so you're already training. If it doesn't happen, are you going to find a 10-mile loop by you?
Oh, no. No, my training plan is I have a training plan.
So Sarah made a training plan.
Oh,
yeah. She planned it all out, and then she sent it to the other 2 people that have committed to run.
Yeah. And
they looked at the plan, and they told her, Sarah.
No, Jeff did.
What did he say?
Are you insane?
No. What? The plan already started.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah. No, he knew that. I told him
halfway into the first week.
Yeah.
He sent it out.
Yeah. Because they had to rest. The first part of the week is the rest days.
So they're training. Mm-hmm. They have their plan. Mm-hmm. They're running.
Yep.
Is it other people from Running Lab that are going?
Yeah. So one of my what do you call them, teammate that's in my pace group, because I talk a lot when I run. I don't need music. I talk the entire time. So somehow with all my talking, it has intrigued him, and he signed up for the 100 miles. He's not going to run a full marathon, but he's going to do 100 miles. It's not my fault, though. It's not. So, yeah, I gave him a training plan, and we'll see where it takes us. If you finish it, you finish it. If you don't, you don't. It's okay. It's something to try and challenge yourself and get out there and see what you can do. So, yeah, he's going to do it. There's a couple other people that were signed up for it last year, but it got canceled. Not the 100 miles. They're doing, I think, 100K or 50K. And then we have another friend that's possibly doing 100K. But the races right now, they're not taking any new registrations because they don't know if they'll even have the race. So yeah. So I'm registered. Russell's registered. Jeff's on the wait list.
Jeff is number 1 on the wait list.
Yeah, he's number 1 on the list. If it happens, yeah.
Yeah, good chance he'll get it.
Yeah. If it happens, I'm sure he'll be in.
Well, that's good. It's always good to have something to keep working towards. You'll be ready for whatever happens next.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all of our races got deferred anyway, so there'll be a ton of races in 2021 if they happen. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even know how many got deferred. I mean, it's hard to keep track of even what you got going on.
Yeah, luckily I don't know if I just had a feeling or what. I couldn't commit to anything last year.
Yeah.
So I don't think I even registered for anything. Just Running Lab's race that I got a free entry for anyways because I'm an ambassador. So
yeah,
I didn't lose out on any money.
I don't think I lost out on any money, but I think it's all everything
invested. It's invested.
It's invested. Money invested. Yes, I invested $50 in Hawaii. The
Oh.
race was $50. It's the 50th year for the Maui Marathon. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So I was like, I'll pay $50 for a marathon in Hawaii because I want to do a race in every state. So I was like, oh, I'll get Hawaii. And so now I just deferred to 2022. So hopefully we'll be able to go in 2022. But I'll take my husband. He'll be 50. Take him on a trip.
Throw him a bone.
Yep. He does run. Some. He doesn't quite understand us, but that's okay too.
So
that we
does the
run.
rest of your family run? So your husband does. What about yours, Rebecca?
No, my sixth grader tried cross country this year, and I was really proud of him. That was exciting. He's got a ways to go. My husband prefers to just do home improvements for exercise, like chopping down trees and stuff like that, digging holes for plants.
Well, that's good.
He doesn't quite understand the whole mentality around like organized events, and we did get him to go to a biking event. We took our husbands
That was
to
fun.
a fundraiser cider cycle, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I think he had a good time, so maybe he'll start to understand why I do what I do. But we'd also just had a beer mile at my house last Friday. So we learned about this group called the Trail Gangstas from Midwest states when we did our 100K in 10 days, and then you rounded out with a century drink, right?
Yep. Yeah,
So
our
we got
buddies there.
That's right. So we did the 100 ounces in 100 minutes. And then around 4th of July, they did a beer mile. So we did
We
that.
didn't throw up.
Oh my gosh. So how does the beer mile work? Like what was the rules to that you did?
We follow them strictly.
Oh, yeah. So your
Yes.
beer has to be at least 5%. It can't be wide mouthed. You can't pour it in a cup. You can't use a straw. It has to be at least 355 milliliters, 12 ounces. And so basically,
It doesn't matter if you're male or female.
that's right. Apparently, for the national rules, women used to only have to drink 3 beers, but now
we're
it's
doing
4.
4.
So when the timer goes, when the gun goes off, you crack your first beer. You can't pre-open them. You crack your beer, you drink it. It has to be emptied, and then you run a quarter mile. And then
Did you have a course set?
Yeah. So in the first one we did wasn't with Trail Gangstas. It was with a Drink Sinatra friend, and we did it through Zoom. We were each at our house by ourselves, and we had each other on a Zoom call.
We just grabbed whatever was in our fridge too. We're like, is it 5%?
Mismatched beer.
It was mismatch. It was like, are we gonna do this? Like, this sounds a little crazy. It was a weekday.
It was a Monday night.
Yeah, we had work the next day. We're like, are we really gonna do this? And we're like, might as well.
It was pretty fun. So yeah, in July we did it together through Trail Gangstas. It was a $10 buy-in. They had raffle prizes and male, female overall awards and everything. So we did it at a beach, kind of like a hidden gravel pit at a state rec area. And we used our Garmin's to map out 0.125 miles. And so we just made a turnaround point, and we'd run and drink our beer and run and drink our beer. We had Sarah's phone going with some music to get us in the mood. And I had my video on so we could record it the whole time. So we have some really interesting videos from that.
That's really cool.
And then we spent the rest of the afternoon just floating in the lake until we were ready to go home.
Yep.
So Trail Gangsters just came out with a Halloween edition beer mile. So to get some more buy-in, the interesting thing was half of all the buy-in this time went to a Billy Mills charity. And I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, where there's a big Native American population, and they always did a Billy Mills fun run up there. So right away, I'm like, oh, I know Billy Mills. Like, not personally, but I've done charity runs for him before. So all of our Running Lab friends were like, you guys are crazy. And that seems really fun. I've never done one of those. So I'm like, okay, no time like the present, So Friday night, a Halloween weekend, I'm like, beer mile at my house, COVID friendly. I got a big backyard, I got bonfire, I have a heated garage. Just come and bring snacks and stay warm until you can go home. My husband had an old door that wasn't hung anywhere, so we put it up on 2x4s or on seahorse.
Yeah.
Not seahorses, sawhorses.
Sawhorses.
So everybody could have their 4 beers on it, and we marked off the road, and we had about a dozen people to it.
Oh, cool.
Fun. Everybody had a great time, and they're looking forward to the next one.
That's
And we
great.
did not throw up.
We did not throw up. We actually.
So nobody
it.
out of all 12 did not throw up?
Yeah.
No, it was, I mean, they're smart. You know, you're either a runner or a drinker. And you figure out, some of us are both. You figure out a way to make it work. So, like, one of our friends that came is in his 60s, and he qualifies for Boston every year. We were very surprised to see him there, and he brought some Two Hearted, and he decided it was no longer his favorite beer after the race. A fast drinker. I think almost everybody beat him. It was like the only time anybody would ever beat him, basically, is what people were saying. We have another friend
leveled out the field.
Yeah. Another male friend that always looks like a big tough guy, but he couldn't burp, and he was in pain, and he was walking. So that was really interesting. We had 2 pregnant girls that did a relay with LaCroix.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in a non-alcoholic category, but they still wanted to be part of the fun.
Uh-huh.
And then we had another male friend who's very tall. He's, I don't know, over 6 foot.
I
6'4".
do not know. He did it in 11 minutes. We are like, how? How is that? What?
The big joke was his beer mile pace is the same as his sober pace.
So it helped.
I don't know. We're still trying to figure that one out.
We can't figure that one out.
He's very tall, though. I figure he just has more room, like his stomach is stretched out more.
We've improved each time. Though.
Yes. Yes. And in the spring, we were at 19 something.
Mhm.
In July, we were at 17. And then I got down to 15:55. And
Yeah.
I think you were
Right behind
me.
Yep, right behind you.
So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
It is fun. It's funny because it doesn't hit you, right? So you are thinking 4 beers in 15 minutes. That's insane. And oh, sure enough, 30 minutes later, you cannot even speak right. You're slurring your words. So you can't speak.
Well, that's cool.
How about you, Michelle? Have you ever done a beer mile?
I have not done a beer mile. I'm not a very good drinker.
You
I am
also
so
done beer
like I
mile?
could do a red wine mile or a margarita. Like, but
Ooh.
Oh.
If we come to one of your events, can we do an alcohol mile?
yeah.
With you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I've always thought we need like a margarita slushy machine at one of the aid stations.
That could work.
Or whatever you guys got in your teacup there.
We're not sponsored by any alcohol companies right now, so we can't talk about it.
That was funny. That was funny. We could use a sponsor. That would be nice.
Oh, that's great. So, hey, Crystal, do you want to do the Ornery
Yeah.
Mule Stubborn 5?
Sure. I feel like I need to change up the answers, though, to think about this
Yeah,
one.
so Crystal gets crazy on them sometimes and comes up with some.
Okay. So these are 5 questions that I ask, and you can answer them fast or stubborn or don't answer them, whatever. The first. Okay, so the first one is, it's for each of you will have to answer. So the first one is share one thing about you that people may not know.
I have 2 tattoos.
Where are they at?
I'm not telling you.
I
What are
graduated
they?
with 16 kids in my class.
Nice.
Town. We had a 5-way intersection.
I grew up in the city. We are very different people.
All right. The next question is, what beer did you drink for your beer miles? Or what was your favorite beer you drank for your beer miles?
Favorite. It's kind of hard to call it a favorite after you drink it so fast. But for the last one, I drank this one I never had before. It's from Oregon, and it's called Deschutes, a little squeezy, little juicy ale. It's 5.2%. It's very delicious.
I used a Shorts brewery. It's called Local something. I forget what it's called. Local Light. And it's a light tasting because it's hard to down a beer quickly that has a lot of flavor. So you got to be strategic, and you need the 5%. So this one's 5%. So you don't want to go over 5% by too much because it's a lot of beer in a short amount of time.
It's a lot of beer. I'd be throwing up for sure. That's probably why I haven't done one. Okay, what is your favorite hobby? Do you have any hobbies?
Beer and running.
Being outside is a hobby.
I'm a little crafty, so I've always enjoyed doing crafts. So you've seen some of my painted rocks.
I like to hike.
Hiking.
I bring my kids sometimes if I have to. My dog.
You like to knit.
I don't knit. I've never knit in my life. I don't know how to
crochet. She likes to crochet. I'm confused.
That's cool.
I like to read.
I like to listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
I don't actually read words on pages.
We used to read.
I listen to audiobooks on my commute. I'm listening to one right now. My dad wrote a porno. It's a good one.
Nice.
I like the title.
All right. Do either of you have like a influence in your life or someone that's inspirational for you?
Oh. Woman power. Oh,
I think my dad's pretty inspirational to me. He started, he was not athletic at all. And he did his first run when my brother was in junior high. It was like, if you went into the Billy Mills 5K fun run, you could skip a track practice the next week or something. And my dad didn't want to let my brother just go run this 3.1 miles in the next town over, like without an adult. So he went and did it with him. And then all of a sudden he got into running. And then it's kind of like Sara, what I feel like the adrenaline rush of running wasn't enough on its own. And he eventually got into triathlons. So by the time I was a junior, senior in high school, he was doing a full Ironman every year. So I've kind of been like behind him a ways, and now he's had knee problems. So he mostly swims and bikes. But as he sees me like doing my 50K, 100K, and now I got my gravel bike, and I'll send him screenshots. I'm like, I got up to 31.5 miles an hour. He's like super proud. So I guess he's a big influence, and I like to see, him as an older person, not super old dad, sorry, still active and life. And I know just like seeing how proud he is like really touching too, and makes you want to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I don't have a person per se, but both my parents are already passed. And so that's kind of an inspiration to me, is that it's important to have a healthy lifestyle. I love the outdoors anyway. And so that's kind of just what keeps me going, is that both my parents are gone, and I want to be around a long time for my kids and possible grandchildren, whether they have them or not, or whatever choices that they make in their lives. But I hope that I can be that, influence on them to have that healthy lifestyle and to enjoy life.
Great answers.
Nice. All right. Yes, I know. I like those. All right. Last question. What is your favorite thing to eat? Favorite food?
I love pizza. Thin crust pizza with pepperoni and sausage and green olives and onions, and banana peppers.
I love calamari and a nice glass of Chardonnay.
You'll often find us at Brighton Bar and Grill sharing that together.
Once a year, maybe. We do other things together besides running. We drink and
Work.
eat. We ride bikes.
We work together.
We work.
It's never any fun when your message on your phone is from her, but it's like, can we talk work?
You're asking me a work question.
Like we're on our bike ride. Okay, it's time to talk work, Rebecca. What do you know about this new test? Nothing.
We don't want to talk about
nothing.
No. Sometimes we do bore people when we talk work
Me
stuff.
too.
Yeah, we are a little nerdy. So
Nerding's good. Well, thank you guys so much. I want to go up there and hang out with you guys. You guys seem like a blast. And we definitely need to do a margarita mile. I don't think I could do a beer mile. I'm not really a beer drinker.
Margaritas are good too.
Oh, margaritas with the beer margaritas.
Beer margaritas so good.
Bring my mom.
I'll have to try. I can try that.
I have the recipe.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sarah and Rebecca. We really appreciate you being on our show, and thank you to all of our listeners. And make sure you leave iTunes reviews and the yada, yada, yada. I know I repeat myself every time, but we really appreciate all of our listeners and all of our guests. And yeah, thank you. You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
And then thank you to Coach Loretta.
Mm-hmm.
She organizes us. It's an absolute team effort to put this on. My son Royal over here and my dog, the dirt dog Diamond. She's always in here. We don't want to forget to thank her. And thank you so much, Sarah and Rebecca. It was awesome to have you on the show. Thank you so. I mean, it's been great kind of getting to know you over the summer virtually. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.